Hey everybody, Chuck Barone. It is Monday, August 26th, 2024. Happy Monday, everybody. Back from a weekend. Hope everybody got some chill. Got away from the madness for a little bit because we're picking right up where we left off. It's just zany time out in the world, man. I gotta say, I think luckily this week we'll catch a little bit of a break because there's really just not a ton of data coming this week. So maybe we get a little bit of, this is the end of summer, right? Next weekend, Labor Day weekend. So, then after Labor Day kind of is the big boom. Let's go get Christmas done. And everything will start really picking up faster. Summer kind of over. I think we're going to have a quiet week this week to end the summer. Everybody kind of already getting their bearings, placing their bets on the Powell moves and what's going to happen. I'm sure we'll have a little bit of this and a little bit of that in these markets in between. But the good news is we won't have a tremendous amount of data coming that could move these markets crazy. Okay. Anyway, before I get rolling, let me take a second. Welcome everybody to the show. As always, thank you guys for your support. Thank you everybody on the chat, the pregame here. Good to see all my friends on there, Dave and Molly. Of course, we got Jordan on today. How you doing, my man? Of course, the usual suspects, Big Smoke and Wolf and Attila and all the rest of my guys. Alfred Vargas on today. Nice to see the guys on. They had a good chat, interesting chat about this proposal. I was reading about this too. I got to see if it's actually legit or not. California offering money to illegal immigrants to buy real estate in California, which is the funniest friggin' thing I ever heard in my whole life. Because the way the real estate in California is priced, even if they gave these people 150 grand, which they're basically, it's just a loan of 150 grand, you're still going to have depending on where in California you are, okay, you're going to have a payment that is going to be astounding, okay? Figure a cheap house in California, a really cheap house is $500,000. Probably more than that now. A regular house, $1 million. And a really nice house, who knows? Sky's the limit, depending on where it is, right? So if you get $1 million house and put $150,000 down, you got an $850,000 loan, jumbo rates. There's no way 99% of the people that would be qualified to get these loans wouldn't qualify to get the loan. Plus, lenders are not stupid. Somebody's got to lend this money here, right? And unless California is going to guarantee every one of those loans, because the first thing they're going to want, they want identification. Who are you? If you're not a United States citizen and you don't have an ITIN number, well, guess what? You're not getting a loan for the rest of it. It's just a big nothing burger, at least what I know of it. Now, who knows how they're going to modify it and change it around, but it's just stupid. California, man. That state is just the zaniest with the stuff they come up with, man. It's crazy. But anyway, moving on. Let's talk about markets today because it was a weird day in the markets, right? So the stock market's been going great guns, man. We're getting a Fed rate cut. Everybody's excited. Today, not so much. No data to really move anything. Market's a little bit scared because NVIDIA got earnings coming soon. Ooh, spooky. And they're afraid because NVIDIA's been leading the market up. If something goes wrong, they're going to lead the market down. So it was just the weirdest day ever. The Dow Jones gains 65 points and ends up at a new record, 41,240. So new record for the Dow Jones Industrials. Yay, Dow, new record high. Meantime, the NASDAQ comes down 152 points. That's the NVIDIA thing. 17,725, so still a really high number on the NASDAQ index, but no records today. S&P down 17 points, 5,616 and change on the S&P 500. Really high numbers for all these indexes are close to record highs, if not at record highs like the Dow is today. So guys, isn't this just the craziest, weirdest thing ever? So now you got stock markets at record highs. Gold, record highs. Markets going crazy, right? And everybody thinks we're in a recession. Now, the interesting thing is one of the data pieces we're going to get this week is the final number for second quarter GDP. Expected to be it's not going to be revised down for a change. Yay, expected to final number be 2.8% for the second quarter. So the economies are growing. Obviously, the stock market companies on the stock market are earning money, or we wouldn't be at record levels. People can get jobs if they want them. Incomes are rising. It's the weirdest thing ever, man. Just really, you got like almost like parallel tracks, I guess. You got like in this track here, you got all of this stuff lining up: economic news, stock markets racking up, people making money like crazy, right? In this line, you got consumer debt, you got all the negative stuff piling up that's pointing to a recession. It's really extra weird. It just is. It's extra weird. Bond market today, well, bond yields up, prices down, but not by very much. Again, it's going to be a quiet week. So the 10-year up by 1 basis point, 3.82%. 2-year up by 2 basis points, 3.93%. So we got a very narrow still inversion, but not much activity in the bond market today. That's the way it works, right? Dollar today surprisingly rallies up a little bit, 100.90 on the index, up 22 basis points today. I think it's the idea of they're pricing out this idea of half point in September. I think we might still get half point somewhere between September and the end of the year, just not likely in September. So I think that's kind of letting the dollar get a little bit of a rise before they actually start the cuts. Precious metals today, even though the dollar up, so were precious metals. Oh, another weird day. So gold up $5.90, $2,519.40, near record high for gold. Silver up 11 cents, $29.89 for an ounce of silver. Silver driving me crazy because it just won't break through $30 and stay there. But it's going to sooner or later, just not today. But both of these, good numbers. Gold really, man. Looks like gold now consolidating above 2,500, which is a great thing for the metal. Needs silver to catch up. It's been lagging a little bit. Oil today rallies up $2.21, now at $77.04 for a barrel of West Texas Intermediate. Spiking up with this Middle East fun. We had Israel went in and blew up one of Hamas or Hezbollah, one of the knuckleheads over there, blew up one of their guys in his place in Tehran. Boom, killed him. So now they've been promising them that they're going to retaliate. Everybody's been all, what are they going to do? Super scared. And everybody knew, though, intelligence has been telling us, and we've been reading it in the media, that Iran does not want to make this a big deal. They don't want a wider war with Israel. So I guess Hezbollah fired back some missiles at Israel. Israel fired some missiles at Hezbollah, but they're calling that their retaliation for killing that guy. And that's what's spiking oil up today. But again, the intelligence I was reading with the story saying that they wanted to save their face. They felt like they needed to do something, but they didn't want to do something so much that it could escalate things. Maybe Israel goes into Lebanon or whatever it is. They don't want to escalate the fight. So they're doing enough to save their face, but not so much that the fight's going to get bigger. So I think oil prices, depending on how things actually go, not what the media says, right? But I think oil prices will settle back down and come back down to our target between 70 and 75. Bitcoin today falls down $843, sitting at $63,342 for Bitcoin. Still a good solid number, even though it's down today. Bitcoin's been holding its own, man. It broke above that resistance number. It looks like it's solidifying there. So Bitcoin looks like it's strengthening. Needs silver. That's the laggard. All right. So like we do every Monday, let's talk about what we're going to get this week. Like I said, it's going to be a very quiet week. Today we'll get data on short selling, what short sellers are in the market, how many positions, how regularly are they trading, what puppy to be, all the stuff on short sellers. Not really anything feel like we need to talk about. It has really not a lot to do with us. And I'm guessing that most people watching this show are not trading short on the market. Tuesday, we'll get consumer confidence. That's an interesting thing. Let's see how consumers are feeling. It's expected to be up. We'll see if that happens. On Wednesday, we'll get mortgage bankers. That's going to be a disaster because we know mortgage bank. Actually, there was a little bit of spike in refis, though, as mortgages came down, getting close to 6.5. People jumping in, getting some refis done, which is cool. But the numbers are still down. And maybe if they can get this cut done, get mortgage rates down to 6.5 or lower, mortgage can start to pick up a little bit. Thursday is the only day with anything real, maybe a little bit of Friday, but Thursday we'll get that final GDP number. Like I was saying, expected to final 2.8% second quarter. So that'll be nice, where there's actually a government report with no big downward revision. And we'll get jobless claims on Thursday. That's expected to come in at 234K this week. It was 232 last week. It's kind of been inching up. So that'll be interesting to see where that goes. Of course, that's one the Fed's going to be watching closely. On Friday, we'll get personal spending numbers, personal income numbers, and we'll get the University of Michigan final numbers for their quarter, which are all going to be unchanged, confirming they kind of had it right. The interesting thing for me will be this personal spending. The consumer is the biggest part of our economy in this country. The consumer is going to tell us recession or not. So we have to watch consumer spending closely. Of course, it gets set up by consumer income. If they're making more money, they're going to spend more money. So that'll be interesting to see on Friday how those numbers turn out. So we'll finish the week with a little something, but none of this is the big stuff like the CPI numbers or something that's really could move the market bigly. Most of this stuff probably will not. All right, so let's talk about stuff today. So let's talk about this soft landing idea here. Can Powell, St. Jerome, my man, can he pull off another miracle? Really? Right now, I got to say, as much as it pains me to say that everything's gone his way. It really has, especially if you compare it to what the inflation spike in the 70s and 80s looked like. I think that was much more fundamental one than this one was, because we did have some weirdness with COVID and the bottleneck and the supply chains were all weirded out because everybody had different policies on COVID and people were hoarding, even countries were. So it was kind of a weird thing. It wasn't the same situation as the 70s, but I still used that to reference, obviously. And it was shocking to me that they could bring inflation down as much as they did, as quickly as they did, because it was ramping up. Remember, we hit 9% where everybody was having a coronary, especially me. They did what they had to do and they got it right. Now we got to say it. Now don't get me wrong. The cumulative of inflation has just been brutal. Prices are not what they once were, right? But now they kind of you got to say they've done a pretty good job slowing things down. So now can he finish the job is the new, can he nail the landing, right? When the gymnast does their thing, we just saw the Olympics. Can they land it? Boom. This is the big question about Powell. And again, we got so much conflicting data right now. It's still really, the markets obviously are saying he's going to pull this off. But I still have my doubts, and I'm sure most of the people watching this video, the people on the chat all have the same doubts I do. It's going to be fascinating to see if he can finish it. Things are pointing to him. Like I said, the markets are indicating he's going to do it. It's still cloudy right now. And you also have, and I got to tell you, you're still going to see the election be part of this finance world stuff. You can't separate the two that much, especially during an election year like this one, where the election's going to be so razor thin close. So Powell walking the tightrope right now. That's why it'll be interesting to see where jobless claims come in. Interesting, credit cards. guys, this is the craziest. Okay, so credit card balances are up year over year, 5.8% so far. $1.14 trillion. $1.14 trillion in credit card balances right now. Late payments also up, so people having a little more difficulty paying because these balances are higher. But remember, what was it, just a few months ago, where I was freaking out because we passed 1 trillion in credit card debt? Like, okay, so one, and now you got the 0.14 we've added on since then. That 0.14 doesn't sound like much. Guys, it's 140 billion freaking dollars. 140 billion freaking dollars. I mean, it's just, they just keep piling it on, keep piling it on, keep piling it on. So that's why I got to see these income and spending numbers, because this does not usually end well, right? Interesting. New York Fed does a big survey doing their research. They have decided that corporate price gouging is not the reason prices are up at the grocery store. Nope. They said that, listen to this, guys. This was interesting. They said that the profit margins at grocery stores are up pretty significantly. They were averaging about 2.8. Now they're about 4.5. So they've really moved their profit margins up. Okay. They said that only accounts for about 10 billion of the 100 billion in additional costs. So they're about, profit margins at the supermarket are about 10% of that extra 20% that we're paying at the supermarket, right? So what was $1 is now $1.20. Of that extra 20 we're paying, 2 cents of that goes to the store. That's their extra profit they're making. So interestingly, that's why they're all cutting that back now, bringing their profit margins back down. Walmart said they like over the last 30 days, reduced prices on over 7,000 items. So we're starting to get some relief on prices, which is amazing because I really haven't seen it in my world. But they blame the cost in the supermarkets on 2 things. Big spike in commodities. Now that's true during COVID. Most of that stuff has come back down. Prices have not come down with it. Also, they're blaming the cost of help, not in food prep, not in, like in the manufacturing of food or the no, it's at the supermarket. Labor in the supermarket's up 15% higher than the cost of food manufacturers making. So the supermarket giving their people raises, adding to the cost. I don't know if I buy all that bullshit, but anyway, corporate America is not to blame for the massive price increases in the supermarket. If you believe that, I got a special little bridge for you. Anyway, finishing up. Sausage sales are up, guys. Sausages, hot dogs, usually not a good sign for the economy. People buy sausage in lieu of steak, right? They buy hot dogs in lieu of steak, or whatever. It's less expensive. They're basically trading down at the supermarket, right? That usually points to recession. People trading down in food, they don't do that if things are going good. So we'll see if the sausage indicator is more powerful than Powell landing this perfect landing, the soft landing. I got to see it to believe it. Anyway, guys, that's it for the day. Wow, that was fast. Amazing. Anyway, that's it for the day. Tomorrow's another one. We'll be back tomorrow, Tuesday, getting closer and closer to NFL kickoff. Please hit the thumbs up, guys. Hit the like button. It helps our channel out, helps us get a few more views. Tell your friends about the show. Let's pump this thing up a little bit. And I'll be back tomorrow to bring you guys the news you need. In the meantime, everybody, peace out. Take care. See you tomorrow.